To another episode of Emotional Nightmares. I am your host. My name is Tyler, and on today's episode, we got with us another guest. She's going to kind of come on, talk to us a little bit about her book, The Girl That Got Out, and explain a little bit about that. Our guest, RJ, is her name. So, RJ, I'm going to ask you to kind of describe yourself and kind of, in a sense, kind of give us a background of, what is The Girl That Got Out? What is the book about?
All right. Well, hello everybody. I'm RJ. But yeah, The Girl That Got Out is a book that I never really wanted to write. I had no intentions of writing, but it is out there now. I felt that it should be. So anyway, it's basically I experienced what should have been a murder-suicide, and I survived. So I'm a middle child. And I don't know if there's other middle children out there. I'm sure there are some that are listening. But, you kind of grow up in between everybody, and you kind of grow up with, not really knowing yourself a whole lot. Like, you're pretty good on your own, but you just try to kind of appease everybody, and you don't have your own identity, So, self-worth, I guess, is where I'm going with this. Self-worth was a challenge for me, and I grew up, I got married, I did the right thing, I had a kid, and I did everything right, I did everything by the book, and the marriage didn't work out, it failed. So we got divorced, and I was just kind of lost at this time, and just trying to find worth from anybody, I just wanted to be cared for. So I met this gentleman. He was awesome, he was cool, and we started dating for a little bit. He got a little obsessive. Like, he was very obsessive, and he had an explosive temper, and he never did anything, but he would just like flip out, and I'd be like, it's not cool, bro. So I broke up with him, and I cut off like all communication with him and everything. So about 6 months after I broke up with him, I was in an apartment. I lived in an apartment with my son. He was 5 years old at the time. We lived on our own, and I took him to the school bus, and on my way back, I see this man standing at the bottom of my steps in my house, and it was my ex-boyfriend, and he's like, I just need to talk to you, He's like, I'm having a bad time, and we need to talk. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I brought him in, and we had breakfast, we're chatting, no big deal. It was time for me to go to work, and so I was like, I said, you need to leave, because I got to go to work. And he was like, you're not going anywhere. And I'm like, yeah, funny, I think I am. I'm leaving. And he was like, no. And out of his backpack, he pulled a can of mace and a knife. And he was like, no, for real, like, you're not going anywhere. I tried to laugh it off and it was crazy because it was real. You know what I mean? Like, you're just like, is he kidding? Like, is this like an actual legit thing? And so I ran for the door. I tried to get past him, but he caught me at the door. And he sprayed me and, hit me in the head. And we kept on fighting until the knife blade was against my throat. So I quit fighting. He drug me back in the house. And then he zip-tied my hands behind my back and zip-tied my feet together. And he had gotten cut during the scuffle. And so he went into the bathroom to check it out. So I'm just sitting there and I'm panicking and I'm like, what do I do? And I was just praying. I'm like, God, you got to get me out of this. Like, I can't. I don't want to die. And you're thinking you're that person in all the news stories. You're thinking you're that girl that, gets chopped up and thrown in the dumpster somewhere, and everybody's like, oh, that's such a sad story. That's you, So I was just I was praying, and I was just like, God, you got to get me out of here. And I just felt in my heart that he was like, I'm not promising that you're going to get out of this, but I do promise that I will be with you through all of it. And that just gave me this peace. I just calmed down. And I was like, all right, steel myself up, get ready for this. So he came back out of the bathroom, and he sat, and he explained to me that we were going to be there for 3 days. It was his plan. He had planned it out for that day. The date was 10, 11, 12. But we were going to be there for 3 days. He was going to torture me for that 3 days. And then at the end, he was going to kill me, and he had a bomb for the police because he figured the police would be around the house at the time. And then he was going to kill himself. So
he's explaining this to you as this is happening. So,
Yes, we're like sitting there having this whole conversation about everything is about 2 and 2.
I mean, we're laughing and smiling now, but at the time, right?
Yeah.
Like, what's going through your head at that moment? Because, I mean, if somebody's holding me zip tied, telling me, like, hey, for the next 3 days, this is what's going to happen and everything, like, what's going through your head at this moment?
I was freaking out. I was absolutely freaking out in my head. I am not a person that likes to be contained. I don't like to, when I go places, I always know where the exits are. Like, I like to be able to get out. And I'll tell you what, being zip tied is just
It's awful.
so crazy. Like, it's so crazy. And I had even left my hands open when he did it. So I'm thinking, I can squeeze them together and, slip right on out. Well, he knew that, and he pushed them together, and he zip tied twice. Like, he put two of them on there. So there was just absolutely no moving, and you're completely at this mercy. So, yeah, I was freaking out, but I just knew that, like, you had to outsmart him. You know what I mean? Like, you had to play along. You had to be calm, because if you're not calm, you're not keeping him calm. And so we really legit just had straight conversation, just sitting there talking about, what was going to happen. And he said he had overdosed on some pills like a month before, and he had died. And he said he didn't see anything. There was nothing there. And it freaked him out when he came to. And so he I don't think he wanted to die alone. I think he wanted to end his life, but I don't know. There was just a lot.
So, all right. So let's backtrack some.
Yeah.
Right? Kind of blowing through it. All right.
Okay,
So, no, you're good. You're good. All right. So let me backtrack, right? So, during the relationship, how long were you together with this guy?
We were on and off for about a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So during that year, you're talking about like him having explosive behaviors, right? Explosive
Right.
attitude, anger. What, looking back at it now, right? Were there these signs there of like, shit, like there's something bad gonna happen? Like, were these signs there? Or was it just, Mr. Lovely, he was great, and like, we're gonna end the relationship?
There was definitely, like I said, he would just flip out. Like, if you took the wrong turn when you were driving, he would just absolutely he would just start screaming. Now, I never put hands on me or anything like that, but he would just
Right.
lose his mind, which I thought was really unnatural. It wasn't healthy. It wasn't good. He was extremely obsessive because there were times, it was one of those toxic relationships where, we'd be together and then we would break up. When we would break up, he would call my phone 5 million times in 1 minute. He would show up when I was grocery shopping. He would just always be there, be around. He was very obsessive.
So, I mean, he was stalking you.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't see it that way at the time because I was like, he just likes me. It's just like, he loves me. It's true love, like, it's okay. I never in a million years would have thought that he would be violent. Like, that just wasn't, he just, like, something wasn't right in his head, but he never, like I said, would lay hands on me or anything like that. And so I just never thought that it would go that far. It would be a thing.
So it was just like the verbal and emotional abuse in a sense that you were going through until eventually it became physical.
Yeah. Now, I did have
I mean, the signs were there.
Yeah, for sure. I had a retired psychologist. We had a fight out in public one time, and there was a man that came up to me, and he said, I don't know you, and I don't know him, but he's going to kill you one day. Like, he straight up said that, and I was like, yeah, okay. Like,
So clearly people are seeing the signs. You're just blinded at the moment.
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I might be confused. He didn't hold you for 3 days though, right?
He did not. Only 6 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say, when reading part of your book, right? You talk about during those 6 hours trapped with your boyfriend, right? So like, what's going? All right. So now we'll go back to the situation. So what's going through your head during this time? Because you're thinking, oh shit, I'm here for 3 hours. He's gonna kill me, right?
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I didn't think we were going to make it 3 days. And he said if anybody had knocked on the door, he would kill me instantly. And he was just extremely volatile. Like 1 minute he would be crying, he was upset, he was crying, he was like, I don't want to do this to you. And then the next minute he would be like, you're evil and you need to die. Like, it's what we're doing. I have hope tattooed on my back, and he said he was going to carve it out of me.
He's going to carve the hope out of you?
Yeah, like literally. But yeah, he said he knew how to cut me in places to keep me alive long enough, that I wouldn't die before 3 days. And he just, until then, he wanted to pretend that we were a happy couple, and he just wanted to have, it's just bizarre.
So he just wanted to spend some time with you?
Yes.
Sorry about that. My cat's scratching on the door. If I don't let him in, he's going to snap out. So, all right. Yeah, he's getting a little nuts. All right. So anyway.
That's fine.
So he's going to carve this out of you?
Yeah. Okay. He wanted to convince me there's no hope, there's no God, there's nothing. He wanted me to be in the same place that he was. So he started making some moves, making some advances, bizarre as it is. And he set the knife down because we're both sitting on the couch, and I'm on his right side, and then he set the knife down on the left side. He just, just started kissing me and stuff like that. And I'm thinking in my head, you gotta grab this knife. Like, grab this knife. Like, get out.
Yeah.
But you're also thinking, like, if you don't do it right, he's gonna be mad and he's gonna kill you. So it's just this huge debate in your head. Survival. You're like, do I survive and try to do it? Do I survive and not do it? But the more he got into things, he wanted some favors, and I just said, I can't really do anything with my hands tied behind my back. So he undid my hands. So I had my hands free, and that was kind of my goal, is just to get a little bit free, a little bit at a time.
All right. So, because one of my questions that I was going to ask you is what helped you survive, right? And it sounds like what kind of helped you survive is just being calm and kind of talking through the situation.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, when somebody is not in their right mind, like when they're just, you don't even know what planet they're on and they're nutting out, it's just never good to come at them. It's never good to try to be like, oh, hey, here's reality, you're wrong. Just right. Be calm, be with them, be like, okay, I hear you, I see what you're going through, I understand, like, nobody's coming at you. And it created that conflict in him where he wanted to be nasty, but then he was just like, wait a minute, like, she's not reciprocating that. So
so you played the loving girlfriend in a sense.
Did.
Right?
I did. 100%. Yep. Because at that point, you want to live, you want to get out. It doesn't matter. Yep.
So obviously, like, going through this situation, you're feeling like, man, I'm not going to make it out, right? So what kind of changed to make you feel like, I got this, I'm going to get out?
Like I said, that moment sitting on the couch, just looking out the window, and my son, I was thinking about my son, and I wanted to get him a hockey helmet. That sounds hilarious, but I'd been wanting to get him a hockey helmet, and I was like, nobody else is going to get him this hockey helmet if I don't get out of here. And that really was what it was. Like, he was my driving. I was like, you have to survive. Like, I have to get out. It's not an option. But
okay. Sorry, I got bit.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
He has to be on the show. He's like, put me up there.
I mean, he's the reason for the show, so.
See?
Yeah. All right. So clearly we understand what's going on, like, with your head, what's going on in your mind during this whole ordeal, right?
Right.
What about day 2? What about the next day after this whole ordeal? So before we go into that, I guess we should probably talk about him in a sense. Does he make it out alive?
He did.
Okay.
He did. He escaped. I ran. I ended up getting out. I ran to the store across the street and called 911. He chased me, but he didn't catch me before I got in there. So he took off. The police came and broke all the windows and brought the helicopters and all that stuff. But he was gone. He was down around you, actually. He came down. He drove about an hour away, and they caught him down there. So
he was down here in Venango.
More
Huh.
Pittsburgh area.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, like downtown.
Interesting. Interesting. So, all right. So day 2 then, right? So take me to your mindset the next day, because this is a traumatic episode, right? This isn't just like I mean, obviously you can laugh about it now and kind of smile, which there's still some pain in there, I can see.
Yeah.
But, obviously this is very traumatic, right? So what happens that on
So day 2 was actually not too bad. I had gone to a shelter that night because they didn't find him until about 4 o'clock in the morning. So I was hiding in a women's shelter with my son, and they came in. That whole first night there was super surreal, and I had nightmares. I had nightmares all that night. He was just chasing me everywhere. But the next day, I was like, you can't let this beat you. Like, you can't be a sissy. And I was like, you got to get back in that apartment, because if you don't get back in there, you're never going to go back there. So I went back the next day and I scrubbed the blood up off the floor. And I had somebody else, my parents kept my son, and I just tried to work through it that night.
where was your son during this whole thing? School?
He had gone to school for the first half of the day, and then my mom had picked him up. So fortunately, he never knew about this till
Thank God.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah,
God.
100%. So yeah, just the first night I wanted to work through the emotions by myself. And it was hard, but I was still on the adrenaline rush. I was still just super high on that adrenaline that I'd made it out. I was kind of like, I'm a badass, It took about a week before the actual emotions set in, like before it just completely caved in. I just fell apart.
How did how did the trauma, right? So how did the trauma of this event start showing up in your day-to-day life?
I couldn't sleep. Like, I could never sleep. I've never felt safe. I could not be home alone. Like, I slept in my car a lot. I would go out to my car and I would just lock the doors, and I would put Lost in Paradise by Evanescence on repeat. And I would just cry, and I would just lay there and wake up and cry and go to sleep. I was a bartender at the time. So I was at the end of my shift, I would just drink and drink and drink and drink. And then the question always came up as why. And I would just ask everybody why. I would just be like, I don't understand why somebody could hate me that much. Like, I didn't do anything to deserve that. Like, I didn't,
Yeah.
Like he said, you're evil and you deserve to die. And that just was the biggest blow. It was worse than everything else, because it was somebody that I thought I really loved. Like, even though we had our spats, I was just like, I really love this guy. And for him to just decide that I wasn't worth living, it was a blow. It was huge. So I drank a lot. Like, I was just always in the corner on the floor. I was a complete mess. A lot of my friends didn't want to deal with me anymore. A lot of them, they said, we can't keep coming to help you, when you're upset. But it just didn't matter. I didn't want to feel anything. The crazy thing about the drinking is it doesn't numb it. I feel like it always made it worse. Like, it just made the demons bigger.
Absolutely.
And it was just a thing. I was drinking, straight vodka. I wasn't mixing nothing, like, just... Yeah, it was really a really dark time. I know people were concerned, but I was still maintaining. Like, I was still going to work. I still had my place. But I just never felt safe with anybody, with anything. Yeah. Yeah.
So, all right. So we're drinking now all the time. How does this affect your day-to-day relationships? Not only from because now you're drinking, like, put that aside. Just, here was this person that you thought you loved, thought loved you. You're describing really a lot of anxiety, a lot of shame, feeling that anxiety and shame. Like, how is this now trickling into, like, your day-to-day relationships?
I kept everybody at arm's length. Like, the people, my family, I really cut them off, because they just, not cut them off. I mean, they were still around, but, like, nobody knew what to do with me. And I was frustrated because they didn't know what to do with me. Like, they either treated you like a wounded animal, or they would just be like, get over it, you know? And you were like, I don't want to be either. I just want to exist and just leave me alone. I definitely got in with the wrong kind of people. I tried to find just the biggest, baddest people in town to
Sure, you're
hang out
trying to
with.
find support.
Just
Safety.
safety. That was
Yeah.
straight it. Yep, it was just
Yeah.
straight it. And I didn't even care. I didn't really care about love or respect or anything. I didn't care about nothing. I just wanted safety. It didn't, it was just, I tried to, talk to the church. I tried to talk to different groups or like therapy and things like that. And this was just initially like right away. And it was around Christmas time, and so everybody was busy, and they were just like, we don't start our groups until next month. We don't have sessions until next month. Can you just come back then? And I never went back. I went down.
Yeah, I mean that's rough. Like that
Yeah.
that's even more tough. Like you're trying to reach out for help and now you're feeling like shit, I'm being neglected again.
Like you're trying to act like you're good, so nobody thinks
Right.
you're like, I'm good, I got this, but I kind of need some help. And it was
Yeah.
like, yeah. So, like I said, I got in with like a little bike group and stuff like that. And, they don't care about you, but it was just like, it was safety. And once you are, property of, or once you're owned or whatever, then you have that safety, that protectiveness around you. And that led me just into more things, and more destructive behaviors and almost re-traumatization, really, because you're constantly. But it was refreshing to always be fighting because your brain's already there.
Right.
Like you're already.
Well, you got anger, right? So you've got all these emotions going on. You got the anger, you got the guilt, the shame, the anxiety, the feeling unsafe. So I'm sure like the fighting is going to make it feel like I'm in control, right? Because now, like, what you're describing is experiencing, like, being out of control. Like, I'm in no control. Here's a situation you thought you were in control of, and you ended up zip tied to the floor.
Yeah.
And, like, now you're looking for a sense of control, right? Our favorite question on our channel, right? So, what we really try to focus on is what's the turning point, right? What's the point of, okay, this is the moment, something needs to change, and how do we get there?
I mean, really, 100% it was my son. I was, he was always with me. I always made sure he stayed away from these things, these moments, like substances and drinking and all that. But he told me when he was 12 years old that he said, Mom, I don't like when you drink. And I was just kind of like, what are you talking about? Like, everybody drinks, it's okay. And he was like, no, he's like, you're different and I don't like it. And he just went off. And that really hit me hard. It really hit me hard because, he is, everything. And my life might be screwed up, but it doesn't mean his has to be, And it was just a really big reflection. I had later on gotten into another relationship, which was abusive, because once again, it was initially that safety thing. And so I was just open and vulnerable to people swooping in. And my son just looked at me and he was like, Mom, you have to get away from all of this or I'm leaving. And he was 12 years old. He was a bold little fella. And yeah. And I said, yeah, absolutely. He's my son. He's my world. And yeah, and that was my turning point. I walked away because I saw how it affected him. Even though I thought I was keeping everything away from him, I wasn't. He saw it. He saw my face. He saw how I was. And completely changed our lives. Like, we got away and I got a little place out in the country and it's quiet, and I cut everything off, cut all of that off, like the people, all of it. And he graduates this year and he's a cool dude.
So, what role does therapy and mental health support play in all of this?
So I did try to go to a couple people. Some were great and did good, some not so much. But I did a lot of, what is that, the memory replacements, where you think of the memory and then you talk about positive things to kind of put over it. And just doing that in my own life, trying to very slowly, pinpoint a trigger and then do something better around it. Like the shower was kind of a big trigger for me for a while. And so I just would just sit in there until I eventually finally would just get over it. Just different methods like that. The best thing was just people that would talk, people that would let me talk, that would let me hash it out, just friends,
Yeah.
people like that. We would try to figure out together, like, why did that happen? What was going on? Yeah, shadow work's another one too. I don't know if you've ever danced. That one's
We talk about it a lot.
shadow work is so brutal. It's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, we talk about it on every season because I mean it's the core foundation for anything, really. I mean, how
It
are
is.
you going to work on yourself if you don't really look at yourself?
Yes.
Um,
Without anybody else's opinion or anything, just you with you. It's yeah. So
yeah,
I did a good.
you survived.
Yeah.
What does that mean for you all these years later?
It means everything. It was a second chance. I could have been like everybody else and not got that chance. I wanted to see my son grow up, and like I said, this year he graduates, and graduation's emotional for anybody, but it's definitely like it's hit me hard because it's what I asked for. It was the only thing that I wanted. That's what surviving means, just giving him a future. And then, like I said, like about a year ago, I was just like, you should share the story. Like maybe it could help somebody, and just making something good out of it.
Yeah, it took what, 10 years for you to write this, right?
And I would try and try, and I couldn't do it. I would just completely fall apart and be a mess. So you would think after 13 years that it wouldn't bother you, but it does. Still does. Like it still goes back. I still sleep on my couch. I don't sleep in my bed because I like to be by the front door. Still have that.
Well, that's what I was gonna ask next is how do you deal with the PTSD triggers today? Because I mean they're obviously still gonna be there.
Right. If I feel it coming on like fall, as soon as the weather starts changing, my body knows. Like I forget, but my body knows, and I just feel like crap. And I'm like, what is wrong? Like what's going on? And I remember, I usually just have a really good breakdown for about an hour or two. I just go, sit in my basement or something and just cry and let it out. I think the hard part is it's like I have borrowed time, and one day he will be back out, and I think that part is it's not a trigger, it's just a fact, it's a thing. So trying to come out and share this with people, like I really know I was supposed to share this story. I know, like 100%, and I'm confident in that, but I'm
Yeah.
absolutely terrified at the future, like what's going to happen, what's going to be down the road. But you just have to you have to live life. And my thing is like if you lay down and let this trauma take a hold of you and you're just give up, then he won. Like he did kill you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
if you don't live life and go live life and live it to the fullest, then you might as well just die that day. Like like you
Yeah,
can't give that to that person. Like you can't let him have that. It's not
absolutely.
his to have, it's yours. Your life is yours. So
Yeah, I agree. I like that. I like that. What was the hardest chapter for you to write? What was the hardest part for you to write in this book?
probably the scuffle at the door. Because I really thought I was gonna die. Like I really thought I was gonna die in that moment. For sure. I thought he was gonna cut my throat. And I was screaming for help and nobody heard. And it's just an overwhelming realization to just life is so fleeting. Like it's just you think you know how to fight, you think you know how to escape, you think, people are right there to help you, and it just doesn't happen. And it's just like that's definitely it haunts me the most. I'd say the greatest nightmare that I have is always that knife. whether he comes out from behind or he's chasing me or whatever, it's that knife. That knife is always there.
Sure, I mean, there's a million episodes on the ID channel of all these situations, right? And it's always, what would you do? And everybody kind of watches it like, I would have done this different.
Right.
And like, until you're in that situation, and then
Yeah.
it's like, now what happens?
Yeah, I'm a scrapper. I'm a decent little fighter, I'm not bad, but he completely overpowered me. Like there was that just blew my mind. Like it was like, what? And you can work out all you want and be strong as you want, but at the end of the day, things happen. Yeah.
All right, so what do you hope that the readers walk away with after reading your book?
I want them to walk away with tools and knowledge to live life. Like I said, to reclaim your life, reclaim your story. Like the trauma is terrible. That was terrible. You lose your identity and now you're a victim, you're a survivor, but you're not. Like you're so much more than that. Like you are just so much more than that, and you have to reclaim that. You have to take that back and you have to become you. You can't let somebody steal your life, and I think that's really just what I want them to walk away from. Like with I put this stuff in there that really helped me out and really helped me to come out of it, and to not need the drinking and to not need like to actually just be a functioning human being.
Yeah, you put together a whole workbook
Yeah, I
on your
did.
website.
Yes, yes, I did. And it's some really it's cool stuff. Like you get into it and it'll help you. Like adrenaline's my favorite, I think, because that really really helps me out a lot. I like whitewater rafting and I like skiing and just stuff like that. When you're doing it, you're just in it. You don't
Yeah.
feel nothing. Like you're just in it, and it's so great. But yeah, I just want people to have that chance to reclaim their story, to reclaim their life from whatever shadow there is, because there are so many horrible stories out there. It's just like, yeah.
So he didn't carve hope out of you at all, after all.
Not at all. Not at all.
Right? So you got the hope, you got it all. So that's awesome, right? Like you have a very inspirational story. Um Absolutely. So somebody who's out there right now, right, is watching this, right? And they're saying, not my boyfriend. He loves me, right?
Right.
What would you say to that person? Like, hey, maybe look out for this. Like, what advice would you give them? Somebody who's in a toxic relationship like you were with yourself. Like, when is it time to leave?
Just because somebody says they love you doesn't mean they know what love is. And that's probably the biggest thing to say. But if he's not considering you and he's not considering how you feel about things, and it's always, he wants you and he needs you and he wants you to be there and he wants you, and that it sounds great because it's lovely to be wanted. Like you want to be wanted. But if you don't do what he says, or you don't be there, or you don't, you might have something else that you need to do or whatever, and he loses his mind, or he's upset, or he cold shoulders you, or whatever. If he won't let you have your own life, if he won't let you be your own person, run away, get away from
Yeah.
him. And there's obviously relationships that are like give and take, and I get it. You make sacrifices for each other, but if he is not reciprocating that, like that's not good. Obsession is not love, and it's really hard to understand that sometimes. Because, like I said, when you feel inadequate or unworthy already, and you meet this person that is just obsessed with you, it's cool. You feel good. You're just like, wow, like he needs me to live and breathe. That's not true. Like he just doesn't. And a relationship should just complement each other, and it shouldn't be that obsessive, possessive.
Yeah, I mean, if I gotta go to the grocery store and look up and every time and you're there, it's kind of
Right?
an issue.
Not good.
Yeah, it's probably not
Not
good.
good. Like you should be able to trust me to go to the grocery store. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, that whole trust thing. And I think for me, the longest time, I struggle with when somebody says I love you and you're just like, yeah, they love me. They might not be doing it on purpose. Like they're not trying to be some terrible person. They really do love you, but they don't know what that is. They just, it's something that they say so that they can keep you or own you or whatever because they want you. They want to keep you. But that's not love. Love is self-sacrificing and looks out for your best interests. And, people get it so confused. And that's when it turns ugly. It's like, wait a minute.
It's unconditional, right?
It's unconditional.
Like we always talk, like I always talk about an unconditional love. Like love should always look like I love you no matter what. Like
Right.
even if it means we don't have to be together, like whatever it is, like I love you. If love starts turning into I love you until you or I love you unless you, that's where we got problems,
Yeah.
you know.
100%.
So, anything else you want the listener to know besides go to your website and go to Amazon and get your book?
Listen to this podcast because it's awesome. I have been listening to episodes. They are fantastic.
Thank you, thank you.
And yeah, just give yourself grace, give yourself time, wherever you're at, whatever point you're at in your life, whatever point you're at in your journey, get to know yourself. Know yourself, be confident in yourself. And like I said, everything takes time. So even if you're struggling with something, be easy. You're going to be all right.
Absolutely. All right, man. Well, listen, I appreciate you for taking the time to come on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. I do have some more questions, but I'm not gonna put them on here.
Okay.
Where do you work?
I'm a prison guard.
There we
I
go.
work in the state prison, yep.
So, as a prison guard, right? So before we end this, as a prison guard, because I'm curious to know this, how does this impact your job, right? Because day to day, like, how is this? Because you're going to be faced in the prison with, like, even worse.
With him, yeah.
Yeah, a million of him, right? How does this deal, like, how does that play in your day to day life with that?
So I know it's really odd. Now, to clarify, before this even happened, I wanted to do prison ministry. That was my thing. Like I really wanted to go where people were the most broken, and that's where I wanted to be. So it was already kind of a thing. But then I detoured from that for a while. Came back, and I wanted to be a chaplain in the prison, and they said, well, all we have is a CO position, so if you want that, you can have it. And I was like, all right, we'll give that a shot. So, panic attacks the whole probably first 2 years. It was real trippy. But it actually healed me so much. Like, it worked so much because it just took him from being this, like, unstoppable force into he's just a human. He's just a person. It made him not so scary, I guess. I still, sometimes I'll think I see him there, like I'll walk by and I'll see a dude and I'm like, whoa, I'm like, what? And that whole, like, the hair is standing up and it's just everything's like, oh my gosh. And you're like, no, like, calm down. Like, this is not, I like it because it keeps me on my toes. Like, it keeps me constantly, there's something about fight or flight whenever you go through something, when you continue living in fight or flight, first responders, emergency response, you're actually happier. I feel happier when things are not peaceful because, like, I like my home to be peaceful, but I like my life to be chaotic because it's my brain. That's what my brain's doing. 24/7 my brain is doing that. So I'm okay with it. Like, it's like, yeah, it's no big deal. And I got to talk to a man who he had stabbed his girlfriend 31 times. He was on my block, and so I got to have a heart to heart with him about why. And it sounds really crazy, but that really actually gave me a lot of closure.
Well, it helps you realize it wasn't because of you, right? It's not your fault.
Yeah.
So, all right.
So, yeah.
All right, well, I appreciate you coming on. I found that to be the most interesting. Like, when we first started talking and you were like,
yeah,
well, yeah, I'm a prison guard. And, like, anyway, this guy kidnapped me. I'm like, wait, hold on, time out. So.
Yeah, one of my coworkers just found out about this book and he was like, what?
Yeah.
And I was like, sure. Because it doesn't go together.
It's awesome, though, right? Like, you have I hope that people watching this, like, I hope they see that no matter, you don't have to allow your trauma to define you, right? Because, you went through some very traumatic experiences here, but you're happy-go-lucky, bubbly personality, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. That's my coping mechanism, unfortunately, is laughing.
well, yeah, part of it. But it's good though, right? Like, it's awesome.
It works,
So.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, thanks.
As always, you guys that are listening, you guys could have been anywhere in the world today. For whatever reason, you chose to be here and listen to this for about 40-some minutes. So I greatly appreciate you for listening. Make sure you like it, share it, subscribe, and then share it to about 20 more people and tell them to share it and get this going. So we appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you for listening. If you didn't get anything out of this to help you get through your day-to-day, there are 3 other seasons at this time on this channel. If none of those help you, then watch another channel. I don't care how you get, we don't care how you get help, man. As long as you get help and you understand you're not alone, there's tons of people out there that are willing to help. So if you need some resources, please message us, contact us, and I'll get you the resources you need. But yeah, so thank you for listening and have a good night.